So in this short little video, we're going to use our molar masses that we went over in the previous video, and we're going to use them to help us convert between moles and grams. Remember that I said before that the importance of the mole is because it allows us to compare two different substances. So for example, remember when we start talking about our balanced equations, 10 grams of hydrogen is not going to be the same thing as 10 grams of oxygen. When we have our water formula, we have 2H2 plus O2 yields H2O, 2H2O. And so with this, we know that I need twice as much oxygen as I do hydrogen in order to obtain the water. Well, so you sit there and say, well, just put 20 grams. So if I have 20 grams of oxygen, but that doesn't mean that I have twice as much oxygen, it just means I have twice as much mass. And remember that mass was dependent on two things. At the beginning of the year, whenever you told me that mass was the number of particles in something, I corrected you guys, and I was tedious, and I told you there would be a reason later. And if you remember, I told you that mass was the amount of particles in a substance, not the number. The number of particles is moles. The amount is the moles, the number, plus the size of each individual one. Oxygen is larger than hydrogen. So if I have 10 grams of oxygen, I'm not going to have nearly as many oxygen molecules as I do when I have 10 grams of hydrogen. Consider it as if I had 10 grams of sand versus 10 grams of marbles. I'm going to have a lot more grains of sand than marbles. They're both 10 grams, but I'm going to have a lot more grains of sand than I do marbles. So it is important to be able to convert to and from moles so that we can compare things. So with this, what we're going to do is first we're going to determine, I have a problem here, and my problem says find the mass of 8.89 moles of calcium chloride. And this is important because with my balanced equation, I may know that I need 0.8 moles of calcium chloride for my reaction, but I can't really measure out 0.89 in the lab, but I can measure out grams. So remember what we usually do. Our given goes over 1. So there's our given, and I know that what I'm being asked for is mass. Okay, so just like before, we're going to underline and circle to keep our focus. And so I have 0.89 moles of calcium chloride. Yes, you must write your substance over 1, because given always goes over 1. Well, great. Well, how can I compare this? I need something. I know I don't want moles, so I need something that allows me to cancel out moles of calcium chloride. I wonder what I can use. Well, the only other thing I know is from our previous lesson, and that was how to determine molar mass. And so when I have the molar mass, I'm going to look at calcium, and calcium has a mass of 40, and chlorine has a mass of 35, but times 2, which is 70. So that's going to tell me that the molar mass of calcium chloride is going to be 110 grams per mole. And now that I look at that, that tells me that's a conversion factor. The molar mass will allow me to compare grams to moles or convert grams and moles of a certain compound. So since I'm talking about calcium chloride in moles and I want calcium chloride in grams, I can use this conversion factor. It was 110 grams of calcium chloride in 1 mole of calcium chloride. Don't forget to cross things out and make circles. So mole of calcium chloride, grams of calcium chloride. Yes, you must write the calcium chloride. I will say that one more time. Yes, you must write the calcium chloride by the units. This is going to be very important in our next lesson, where we are going to be expanding this quite a bit more. All right, so that is how we're going to use molar mass to convert our things. So let's say that I have 30 grams of sodium chloride, and I want to know how many moles that is. If you'd like to try it on your own, pause now. Otherwise, continue to watch as I go over the solution. So once again, we underline what we have, and we're going to circle what we're trying to get to. So my known goes over 1. Don't forget your units. And so now I'm going to go backwards this time than what I did up above. I'm still going to have my molar mass. So sodium chloride, I know that sodium is 23. I know that chlorine is 35. 23 and 35. So that's going to give me 58 grams per mole. And so then, over here, I need grams of sodium chloride on the bottom, and up here, I need moles of sodium chloride on top. So that way I can end with what I'm looking for. And so then 58 will go on the bottom, 58 grams in 1 mole, which will go on the top. I'm going to take my 30 divided by 58 and get 0.52 moles. So 30 grams of sodium chloride is equivalent to 0.52 moles. And this is how we use our molar mass to convert between grams and moles.